Donald Trump recently hired Atlanta criminal defense attorney Steve Sadow to represent him the Georgia RICO investigation, led by Judge Scott McAfee, after he fired Drew Findling, who is also Atlanta's famous criminal defense attorney. But Sadow, Findling, and McAfee play key roles in something entirely different: the story of a man who steals millions from billionaires while sitting a maximum security prison. This is quite a feat. If Trump hopes to get a job from prison, he may have found a new role model here. The New Yorker's Charles Bethea has gripping, long story about Arthur Cofield, a Georgia convict who was immediately caught and jailed for armed robbery at the age of 16 after paying $2,600 to bank at gunpoint. Cofield was sentenced to 14 years in prison for this clumsy attempt. He was convicted and began his career at the American prison system, the Crime Recovery School. He had become a much better thief from the inside, using smuggled cell phones and outside accomplices. Cofield was able to get financial institutions to transfer large sums from billionaires' accounts. Here is one of stories and first to bring Trump's current judge to trial when McAfee was a AUSA of case. Having identified a possible suspect in Georgia, Secret Service turned case over to Scott McAfee, U.S. Assistant Attorney General for state's Northern Territory. In August 2020, broker Charles Schwab contacted one of McAfee's investigators. The two people working together, the 95-year-old clothierand has successfully impersonated Hollywood producer Sidney Kimmel and his wife, Caroline Davis. Kimmel, who recently executive produced Crazy Rich Asians, has a net worth of approximately $1.5 billion and several accounts with Schwab. He set up an online brokerage account for Kimmel, later named Schwab, tie it to a checking account, claiming be Kimmel. On the phone, he gave Kimmel's social security number, his mother's maiden name, date of birth, and home address. 3 days after that, Kimmel's wifeSomeone claiming that he was a man called Schwab and asked how to make a wire transfer. Half an hour later, Cofield sent a signed form authorizing such a transfer. The transfer was for $11 million. The gold was used to buy coins. We're not going to get into allegations, architecture buffs, or late-night gold transfers on asphalt. Documentation of secure transactions. A new guide for practitioners. The newly updated PLI review provides both legal framework and practical guidance on documenting secure transactions, including key details regarding the 2022 changes to UCC. Once officials realized what was going on, Cofield hired Sadow and Findling and brought all of our Trump case figures together into one story. Becoming a criminal mastermind usually happens before he goes to jail. The whole article looks like Scarface meets Benjamin Button. How a Man in Prison Stole Millions from Billionaires. Joe Patrice is senior editor at Above the Law and co-host of Thinking Like a